Welcome back to the Big Spending and Museum Line Challenge, played entirely in vanilla mode. I'm Murphy, your conductor for this journey. In this episode, we're tearing out the old truck routes and replacing them with our first regional train hub, designed to supply 3 towns with industrial goods. It's a major leap in efficiencies and a key milestone towards our 200 million maintenance goal. Let's fire up the engines and get this rail network rolling. We're making solid money for 1850. 4.6 million to be exact. I paused the game at the start of the financial year so that we can break down where it's all coming from. Our road routes are pulling in 1.8 million profit from 4.8 million in ticket sales, while the railways are bringing in 2.8 million from a massive 12 million turnover. So yes, the roads are a real moneymaker right now, which makes today's move a bit controversial. We're starting to replace them. We've got nearly 700 road vehicles, but the current routes are maxed out. There's no room for growth, and that's why it's time to upgrade to trains. Fewer moving parts, but more consistent deliveries and no traffic slowing us down. Our first upgrade is to supply timber to the Whitnash machine factory. We'll start at Blackrod forest, running through to the sawmill and finishing at the factory. The road vehicles will be diverted to other routes for now, but the day is coming when we'll have to say goodbye to some of those hard-working horses. Starting at our forest, I'm placing a single station just opposite the road. I don't want to interfere with that route just yet. And over at the timber yard, I've dropped a station just to the left of the truck stop, making sure that the exit route stays clear behind it. Next, I'm connecting both stations with a clean stretch of track, letting the train auto-levelling as we go. Then we head towards the machine factory. I'm being careful not to connect with the road too much, as I don't want to disrupt this part of the truck route either. We'll tie it directly into the existing rail line to keep things smooth. I've placed a temporary depot near the timber station, that way both trains can easily access their new routes once they're ready. We're starting with the first route, wood from Blackrod transfer to Central. I'm simplifying the name convention just to wood transfer. Then we set up the second route for timber. It's a simple timber transfer. From testing, I know I need at least 100 units of wood capacity for the wood line and around 75 units to start with for the timber line. As we roll out the trains, I'll begin rebalancing the existing road routes. The goal is to start phasing out these truck stops as soon as possible. So let's get these trains rolling. I'll see you in a moment. The new train route is now balanced, and with the increased supply heading to the machine factory, the steel routes have been reworked to keep everything running smoothly. Each steel train now carries 152 units, and to maintain the speed, I've added 2 extra locos to each of those. We've also introduced a third train dedicated to transferring the finished steel directly to the factory, helping to streamline the flow and avoid any production delays. Without input rising across the board, I've gone ahead and increased the capacity of both the wood and timber trains to match. It's all about keeping pace with demand and making sure every link in the chain is pulling its weight. The network is evolving, and this is just the beginning. Alright, the next stage is a big one. We need to connect our station from the machine factory to 3 towns, Whitnash, Blackrod and Okehampton. But to make these routes profitable, we're adding in food from Whaley Bridge processing plant and the construction materials from Whitnash. To keep those supplies flowing, we'll also need to connect in the Blackrod quarry into the mix. Starting in Okehampton, we're building a new station and a new truck stop to handle local deliveries. I'm being careful not to interfere with the existing bus route, and we'll make use of at least one of these truck stops already in place. For now, the existing machine route delivery will stay operational while we balance the setup. We'll rinse and repeat this process in Blackrod and in Whitnash. But before any tracks go down, we need to pull in food supply. That requires a slight stationary build plus a few extra storage buildings to help us get the right balance. Since the plan is to eventually remove this entire Blackrod route, we've got to reorder the stone quarry and construction materials flow first. Now it comes to Whitnash West station reorganisation. We're adding extra platforms and separating finished goods from deliveries. I don't want those slowed down by the transferring trains heading into the towns, or vice versa. The first route we're connecting is from the food processing plant, hugging the bridge as we cross the river. We're diverting away from the fields to keep costs down and then linking into our existing steel transfer route. Next, we'll bring in the construction materials. We've laid a nice curve in the track that allows us to connect Whitnash shortly. To keep production volumes high at the construction mats plants, we're connecting into the Blackrod quarry next. Then it comes to actually delivery routes. We're starting with construction materials, and since there's a demand at the truck stop behind the machine factory, that will activate quickly, then followed on with food deliveries. Now we can start linking the towns. Starting with Blackrod, the line runs parallel to the steel transfer route, so we don't overload it while we balance deliveries. Okehampton is next. We're keeping the timber transfer line away from the direct route to the town to avoid congestion. And finally, we can connect to Whitnash. With all the finished product routes now set up, these trains have been released and we can begin town deliveries. Each town will focus on its primary two goods, so Okehampton will get a 50-50 split. Blackrod will mainly focus on the construction materials, and Whitnash will receive machines and food. Once these routes are fully connected, demand for these goods by road will start to dwindle. This means we've got a lot of rebalancing ahead, so I'll see you in a moment. It's been about 30 years since we kicked off this episode, and we're only halfway through the rebalancing. There's still plenty to do. We need to bring more wood to the timber processing plant, more grain to the food processing plant, and build our second regional train hub. We've already cut our road vehicle count by more than half. We're now sitting at just under 300 vehicles, but there are still a few more that can be retired. Looking at the map, there's a really nice open space between Longtown, Whaley Bridge and Marlborough. It's a perfect spot for our next hub. This will also let us start supplying machines to Marlborough, while making sure Longtown and Whaley Bridge get all the goods they need. We'll begin by connecting the additional wood, Blackrod and the grain from Whaley Bridge Farm, and that will keep our new lines compact and efficient. Then it's time to build our new stations in each town, along with local supply routes that stay clear of any existing bus lanes. We'll start in Longtown, move over to Whaley Bridge, and then finish off completely setting up a new layout in Marlborough. Now that each town, station and network is complete, we're bringing in construction materials, food and tools that are needed primarily in this region. We're also setting up our first transfer train. This will primarily ship machines from Whitnash West Hub, which now Hub 1, so it's easy to locate and manage as a network road. First up, we've connected the construction materials production, heading north towards Longtown, then shifting east to Hub 2. That's quickly followed by the food transfer, also feeding into Hub 2. Next priority is tools. This is a clean, straight route straight into the hub. Now it's time for our towns. Starting with Marlborough, this route hugs the tool line all the way in. Whaley Bridge is next, and here the track follows the food route to the hub. To round things off, Longtown gets connected, completing the triangle. Same as before, we're setting up trains with a specific delivery routes. Whaley Bridge gets 50-50 split between goods carriages and stake wagons. Marlborough is running 100% goods carriages since we're only going to be shipping machines here for the short term. And Longtown mirrors Whaley Bridge back to the 50-50 split. Our final route today, the big connector, the transfer line between Hub 1 and 2. This will allow us to move machines from our original production over at Whitnash West, and now officially known as Hub 1, over to our newer distribution hub at Hub 2. It's a critical link in the chain, helping us to keep both regions supplied without overloading any single route. Once that connection is in place, it's time for some serious balancing. Well, fine-tuning deliveries, adjusting train capacities and making sure every town is getting what it needs. I'll get on to that. I'll see you in a moment. That's all the balancing I'm doing today. I've reworked routes, scaled up production, and tightened the entire network across 6 towns. Foundations are solid, and the rails are doing the heavy lifting. Over the 60 years of in-game progress, 6 towns connected, a massive shift from road to rail. This episode was all about expansion and refining. We built a second regional hub, linked it to Hub 1, and set up a dedicated delivery route for food, construction materials, tools and machinery, with road vehicles cut extensively and transferred to trains now in motion. The network's evolving fast, and the big spender goal is getting closer with every mile of track. The rails are humming, the towns are thriving, and the logistics empire is taking shape. Thanks for riding along. New episodes drop every Sunday at 5 PM UK